Welcome to the Murky Cup, everybody! So, here we are in the group stage. We have 12 teams in total, and we're currently in Group A. Now, in the Murky Cup, we have a couple of restrictions when it comes to drafting. This is a best-of-3 series, by the way. So as we're going through the groups, we have all best-of-3 matches, and then once we're heading into the playoffs later on, we're going to focus more and more on best-of-5 as well. But the Murky Cup is a little bit special. Now, first of all, we have one draft restriction, and that is that every single hero that gets picked cannot be played against in the same series. We've used this in the past, obviously, a lot. So, in the last tournament, in the Anniversary Cup, we didn't have that format. But right now, if you see a hero that gets played, it cannot be played again. It doesn't really screw too much with the hero pool of players, but at the same time, it makes it so that for you as the audience, you don't see the same hero over and over again. But with the Murky Cup and also with previously the Banshee Cup, we have actually something else, and that is bounties. Now, we're adding bounties to the tournament, and bounties are essentially quests that the teams can complete. And every time that they complete a quest, they get one ticket, so to say. If they, by the way, lose with a bounty attempt, they get half a ticket. We added that last point just recently for this specific tournament. It was already discussed in previous tournaments that had similar systems, but we want to try it this time and just see how teams deal with it. So just to give you guys a bit of an idea, these are the bounties that we currently have for the event here. You can also see that some of them actually give you twice the reward. Twin Blade variant, for example, is so shit and so bad that teams haven't even tried it in the past when we ran this format, because it's just such a bad concept. Twin Blade variant is horrible, which makes it even more funny than in a lot of quick matches he actually gets played. Now, again, if you complete a bounty, every team, by the way, can complete these bounties once. So each team, so to say, has their own bounty list. If a team completes a bounty, they get a ticket. If a team fails a bounty, they're trying a bounty, but they lose the game, they get half a point. So with that, we're trying to incentivize teams to try these bounties a little bit more often, so that even if it doesn't work out for them, because at the end of the day, it's a handicap as you're going into the game. But as teams are going through that, they have now the chance to accumulate a few more points. So what is this actually for? I mean, why would they even do that? The reason is fairly simple. The prize pool in this tournament is actually split. So we have 1,000 euros that go, as usual, to the top teams within the tournament. But we're also currently crowdfunding for a second prize pool, so to say. And once that we're done with the tournament, each team gets a share of that second prize pool, depending on how many bounty points they have, how many bounties they completed. Sounds a little bit complicated, but again, if you just think about it for just a few moments, it's fairly straightforward, it's pretty easy. What we're trying to do here is incentivize teams, first of all, to play some heroes that are maybe a little bit outside of the box, and also to give teams that don't end up every single tournament in the top 3 a chance to get a bit of pizza money for the event. So it should be a lot of fun. Teams don't have to do this, by the way. If they are like, well, no, we don't want to do any of this, we just want to have a straight up tournament, they can totally do that. They can just fight for the main prize money. So this is essentially what happens here. There's going to be a lot more info as we're going through that. I'm also going to repeat this a bit. Again, if you are willing, if you want to support this, and if you are trying to chip in a little bit to that crowdfunded bounty pool, if you want to make it more interesting for the teams to actually try all of these things, then you can do that. If you watch this on YouTube right now, there will be a link in the description for the crowdfunding, where every single support that you send in goes straight to that bounty pool. So just as a little bit of a side note, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, just check the description of the video and the link will be there. Blaze, Jojo, and Zarya currently for Team Green Cat. And on the other side, we got Sylvanas on Uther. I would expect that right now we're already going to see quite a few of the bounties. Obviously, with that draft restriction that we have in the tournament, where you can only play a hero once, it stands to reason that if we're looking at a best-of-5 series, for example, it goes to map number 4 or map number 5, that it's more attractive for teams to try these bounties, because all of those heroes start to become a little bit more interesting as others are banned and unplayable. So it should be pretty okay. Now, we have, of course, plenty of bounties here. Some of them have double rewards. There's also been a couple of questions just in general about this whole idea of you getting half a ticket, half a point if you fail with a bounty attempt. I will address those later. You can also check out the rules if you want to. But let's see what we're now getting in our first series of the day here on Tomb. The Enjoyers currently with Leo and Mal'Ganis. So Uther is actually going to be their solo support for now, at least, from the looks of it. And up to now, no bounty attempt, actually. nobody has locked anything in. Sometimes teams are more willing to try and go for a bounty whenever they are in the lead in the series. This might be something that we see. I actually adjusted someone. There is Khaldor. Okay. So, it's party time. We got Ophia on one side, here on two of the Spider Queen, and we have Khaldor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Map number 1 in Murky Cup. Number 2, it is the Enjoyers against the Green Cats. Game number 1, the Enjoyers, ladies and gentlemen. Over on the left side with Arian on Sylvanas. We got Briss on Mal'Ganis. Subbing in today, by the way, for the Enjoyers. Alvaros on Khaldor, Lavakal on Uther, and we got Atrax on Leoric. On the right side of the map, Team Green Cats with J Hart on Johanna. We got Reavers on Zarya, Guilty Spark on Deckard Cain, Pudgenox on Blaze, and Timothy is playing off here. So we got a pretty strong front line here already from them. Having Zarya in the mix gives them also additional sustain, as the teams are starting to clash in the middle. And we'll talk about the bounties a little bit more, because there was a little bit confusion around some nuances, and I think we should address them early. I will probably have to address them in other videos as well, but at least as we're starting into the tournament right now, I want to talk a bit about it. Very nice start here though from the Enjoyers. Starting to stack up Khaldor as well. So basically, as I said before, a bounty can be completed only once. So you can't, for example, one-trick the Butcher and then complete the Butcher bounty over and over and over again. That's not a thing. What you can do though is you can fail a bounty as many times as you want, and every single time that you try the bounty, you get half a point. Now, we're doing this for the first time now, that we're giving teams that fail a bounty at least some points, something. We'll see how it works if teams are trying to exploit this somehow, but our thinking was that if you fail a bounty, that also means you lose the map. So, intentionally failing bounties is not gonna be a thing, simply because it means that you're losing all of the games that you're playing, and obviously you don't want that. But let's say you're trying the Butcher bounty 3 times, 2 times you fail it, that means you get twice 0.5 points, so 1 point in total. Then you complete it once, that gives you a full point, so in those 3 games you would then get 2 bounty points. That's essentially what happens. Keep in mind, by the way, that every single hero can only be played once within a series. So you can't all of a sudden come in and like fail the same bounty in the same series multiple times. That's also a thing. So there's a lot where people have already been thinking about, hey, how does this work? What can people possibly do? But please keep all of those things in mind, because obviously they affect one another. But there's one other question that was also asked, and that is, does a bounty that gives you a double reward, Butcher in this example, does that give you a full point if you fail it? And the answer is obviously no. So you get 2 points if you are able to win a game with Butcher, but you still only get a consolation prize of half a point if you fail the Butcher bounty. Again, the whole idea here is to give teams that usually don't end up in the top 3 a chance to accumulate a little bit of pizza money and to make this interesting for the viewers, and at the same time not force the teams into it. Teams are incentivized, but we're not trying to force them into anything. So, with that out of the way, Khaldor is obviously already getting played here, so this is already going to be the first thing. I mean, again, it's going to be quite a lot of fun just to see what they can do here. Leorki, by the way, is having a pretty tough time over here. So, for now, things are looking pretty okay for the Green Cats. They got 2 kills against Leorki, and he's gone. The bag of bones over there. Only one team in this game is attempting a bounty, so no matter what happens, the Enjoyers are at least gonna get half a point. If they win, of course, they get the full point for winning with Khaldor, but we'll see how this goes for them. These are all best of 3 matches, and we have also a last chance qualifier, by the way. So there's gonna be a lot of content, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. We have, by the way, some absolutely supreme teams. Especially HGC connoisseurs are gonna have a lot of fun. Breeze, for example, signed up and has been scrimming a lot. We have a North American team that is participating, and we even have a team with a franchise where, for example, Masquerade is playing too. So it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. You should definitely make sure that you clear your calendars for this, because it's gonna be great. Khaldor is nicely stacking so far. Sitting at 13 right now, so that little boost that you want through that baseline is going to be pretty big for him. With the Master of the Cold Dark, so we're going to see a lot of focus from him early on that. Deckard Cain. Careful, old geezer. Well, he needs to be a bit careful here. And again, stun on Zarya, and that's the kill for the blue team. They take Zarya down, and she is gone. So, well, Deckard Cain is already retreating too, but we might have another hero in trouble here. Jojo still fine with the Iron Skin cooldown available. The turn-ins have slowly started as well now here on map number 1, and 27 gems have been delivered by the Green Cats. We have 71 in the hands of the blue team, so both of the teams have plenty of gems they can use for their first turn-in and get some spiders into the action, but nobody has been able to complete that yet. I would assume that Blaze is also holding a lot, and yep, indeed he does. So we are looking at 25 gems on Paganox alone, but he's also a bit low here, also in mana, so needs to be careful with this. Whenever the Web Weavers are getting dropped by the Enjoyers, it should be interesting, because Khaldor is really good pushing into structures. And the blue team gets the Web Weavers. So if you are sieging up and you're pushing with Khaldor, this is really where he oftentimes excels. And on top of that, you have, of course, Sylvanas, who can enhance any push here. That's going to be big for them too. The Enjoyers definitely on a big one right now. Nobody has level 10 yet, there's no leading experience, but there is definitely some structural damage that is already mounting up before the objective even plays a role here. The wall in the middle, for example, completely destroyed. Zarya goes brrrr at the top lane and melts down the Web Weaver there. But here comes that push that we've been talking about. And Khaldor, now with 20 stacks on his baseline, is trying to get more damage in and really start deleting this. They are getting good damage with the Web Weavers too, thanks to Sylvanas amongst other things. But I'm not sure if they can even break fully through this. They have the early level 10, which is nice. Question is simply if they can capitalize on it. Down at the bottom of the map, Leorki has done some work at least, and Paganox is again running out of mana slowly. So Leos has to be careful. Itrex already died twice earlier, so you don't want to go down again. Activating his trade. I'm sorry, he didn't actually die, he just activated his trade. Totally different thing. Sylvanas gets caught at the top and eliminated. So she's gone. 3 kills to 1 now for the Green Cats, as they're definitely giving the Enjoyers a run for their money. They need that turn-in though. And J-Hart delivers 18, and that is enough. Red team with the Web Weavers, as long as they can keep Jojo alive here, they're going to be ready for their own push. Damage output, we now have 16,000 on Leo, so the consistent drains against Paganox on Blaze have been helping him to boost his damage. Khaldor on 13,000, Sylvanas is a little bit ahead with 14k, and Orphea is just slapping things over here. All day, every day. Lots of damage on those forts in the middle and the bot lane, by the way, during the first objective phase, but now that we're having it here for the Green Cats, let's see what the red team can do. They're starting to push through the middle. Up at the top, Zarya is of course also present and starts to laser down that wall. I think this is most likely where they're going to do most of the damage. Mal'Ganis is saying hello. There's the Blessed Shield that didn't really do a lot for them, so that's already a bit of a small faux pas here. Deckard Cain just barely connects with Mal'Ganis as he drops his ult, but they're pushing for the fort now. It's a 4 versus 4 at the top lane because the side laners are still stuck in the one-on-one at the bottom of the map. But at the top, again, they take the wall out. There's a little bit of damage on the fort, but it's nothing to write home about. Khaldor with his quest completed. And now, of course, we are getting closer and closer to him also completing his baseline, which is going to be pretty big. And once that he has the baseline completed, this is a huge power spike. So we'll see how much of an impact he can have with that. Teams are still in a position where they each can go for a second turn-in. Sylvanas gets chased for a bit at the top, but Arian so far still fine. They're trying to interrupt the turn-ins that are coming. The red team has done a solid job securing their gems. They're sitting at 42 for now. Alvaros gets caught, and yeah, the Divine Shield. Better safe than sorry. Uther is not hesitating here, just drops the cooldown, says we got this. Now they're going for Fear, and oh my god, the heal! But it's not enough. Mal'Ganis gets the kill of fear is gone, and they are looking to go for another one. They're looking for Jojo, who they cannot take out though. Jojo is still alive, but with level 13 talents now in their hands, there's a good chance for the blue team to get their turn in. There is a lot of interrupts on the other hand for the red team. And they're going to try and use all of that. Blaze is, yeah, chronically low on HP and mana. Every single time I check up on him, he's having some trouble there. I'm not sure if they can go for the turn-in right now, but yeah, they need a little bit more. Mal'Ganis already on his way back towards the middle of the map. Khaldor should actually start to really push his damage by now. But Leo is still holding the crown for the blue team. 27,000 right now. As the Polish team is getting their second turn-in. Blaze, the top damage dealer. I have the feeling that at the bot lane, the two of them are just exchanging damage the entire time. There's a constant battle between Blaze and Leo. Talking about battles, Mal'Ganis, for a few moments, it looked like they might be able to get a kill on him. That's a really nice attack from the Green Cats. They were hoping to get a kill here before the Web Weavers even arrived. That would have helped them with the defense, but now Zarya gets caught and killed. Zarya is down. Blaze rotated down to the bottom of the map in an attempt to stop the Web Weaver there. But I think that fort is already in a huge amount of trouble. And the one in the middle of the map is obviously going to fall here. So this is really, really nice for the Enjoyers. Lots of structural damage right now at the bottom of the map. If this fort, it should fall. If it doesn't, then they're going to come in a moment later and take it out. But this one's gone. And as they're pushing towards the top, they're going to take out all the forts of Team Green Cats. The red team lost the entire outer ring of defense. Everything's gone right now. And this is obviously bad news at this point. So, great little push and momentum that built up for the Enjoyers. There's the Entomb again. And this time, yeah, he gets the bunker out. I was just about to say, this time there's actually some heroes around that could help to secure the kill. But Blaze drops his own ult and immediately retreats. But it's 3 kills to 3 now. Still very even experience between the teams, but this is now slowly going to change with the passive increase of XP for the Enjoyers now that they've taken this many structures out. And they're also looking at another turn-in. So they have enough gems to get that turn-in completed. Arya needs to turn in as well though, and he's still busy on those siege giants. But it's now going to be much, much trickier and more difficult for the red team to push into the middle to turn in, for example. They have the gems, don't get me wrong. But the blue team also will have level 16 soon. Leo gets hit. Khaldor, nice damage. Here's the Entomb again. This time on Deckard Cain. And he's gone. Yeah, going here onto the Shadow Fissure on level 10. Also helping. Now they go for Blaze and take him down too. And Khaldor is just starting to absolutely wreck it. He is getting the damage in slowly. Leo still leading for them, but Khaldor is catching up and so is Sylvanas. Web Weavers again for the blue team. The Green Cats were just not able to push into the middle and deliver their own gems. And they're now also a talent behind as they still don't have access to level 16. But this is really where the Enjoyers are trying to put the nail into the coffin. So they are moving in through the middle. They have Web Weavers at the bottom as well. Leo rotated towards the top to apply pressure there. And I think at least one keep is going to fall here. Blaze is barely coming back, but Jojo, for example, is low. She's currently sitting on 29 gems, so losing her would also be an issue, unless the gems can be recovered. But it seems like the blue team is not pushing it too hard. They're still hoping that they can get a kill here, and they're now coming in with the Auric once again. Both teams with level 16 talents at this point in time. Top side, Web Weaver also with lots of damage on that keep, but the Green Cats might be able to save those keeps. Probably not. In the middle, the push is there, and now that they had to rotate towards the top, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. The keep goes down. This is the first one that falls. Top lane keep has taken damage down at the bottom of the map. A similar picture. Damage also right here. And even though the chase in the middle still going on, and the Green Cats are hoping to get a kill here, I just don't see it. If they can get the turn, it's a different story, but Jojo, mind-controlled and absolutely brutalized by the blue team, goes down. That's 6 kills to 3 now. The Green Cats, they lost all momentum. Guilty Spark is in trouble as well. Gets slowed by Leoric again. The mace to the face, and that is it. That's 2 heroes down. That's 2 levels of a lead nearly, and they can now rotate towards the boss at the top. So yeah, more and more momentum for the blue team. Only question that I have at this point is if the red team sneaks in a turn end now, and it's going to be a boss defense against the Web Weaver defense. That's still a possibility, of course. So this could happen, but yeah, we'll see. Honestly, at this point, it doesn't really look too likely. Then again, they are moving towards that bottom turn in. Boss has now been taken, and yep, they're going to try and go for that trade. The problem is that no matter what, that topside keep is going to take a bit more damage. And it's already down to 50% of its HP, as you can see here. They were hoping to get the Entomb connected, and they might still be able to do that. Slow, drain, and there's the Entomb. Now they just have to get the rest of the team in, and I don't think they're going to be there in time. Well, actually, they might be. Because here comes Sylvanas, and gets the mind control out. They really want Zarya here, but look at Deckard Cain. That old boomer. Years and years of experience, and he dropped the perfect silencer. Stay a while and get wrecked. Leo goes down, so Leoki eliminated once again. Red Web Weavers on the map. They also dropped Mal'Ganis, so that's 2 heroes down. That helps them to catch up a bit. Maybe they can even finally take a few structures out themselves, but there is a level 20 available for the Enjoyers now. But of course, in a 5 versus 3 situation, you gotta push. This is really the only moment where you can hope to start a bit of a comeback, and that's exactly what they're attempting to do. Zarya goes brrrr, and they're taking the bottom fort out. Now, how far can they push this? Because Mal'Ganis is still gone for another 30 seconds. They want Leo, and you know what? They're gonna get him. He came, he saw, and he got wrecked again. Veni, Vidi, Vici. So, Blaze dying at the top, that's a bad news story for them though. Yeah, that should not have happened, so that is 1 kill, and you know what? They just moved in for their top keep and took this out. So, while I really like that the Cats finally got the first structure destroyed and they were also able to lock in another kill, which helps them to get closer to level 20, it doesn't really feel like they can do anything else here. We have on level 20 now the Burning Despair for Leoki, and for Kel'Thuzad we got the Damned Return. As I said before, he's really starting to get some damage in here. We're having now at 45,000 damage. Sylvanas at 47. Leoki still at 53. And Ophia, she is, yeah, holding the torch here for the red team. They got level 20 now, so I mean, at least there's that. Maybe with the Storm Talents they can make a few moves. They also have more gems than the opponent. They are 1 turn in behind. That explains the increased amount of gems, but well, if they can turn in, maybe there's a shot. Blaze with the jet propulsion. Jojo, nice setup from her. Is this the kill? Uther is in trouble. Uther, and yes, he goes down. Uther goes down. They're still trying to get the counter kill. Jihad at the front. They are focusing on Mal'Ganis now, but the problem is that Ophia is low. She's still alive on the other hand, and if she can use the mobility, if they can get those kills, oh my god. Jojo came in again, and they are just chasing them down. Sylvanas, Kel'Thuzad, they all get destroyed. That's the end of Zarya, but Leo falls as well, and they're gonna go for a 5-man wipe essentially. Catapult soon on the core, but that was a big one. That was a huge move. They get Mal'Ganis, but it takes them also quite some time. So at this point, you have to really think about, okay, what are we doing with this? They gotta get their turn in, and they need to go for some structures. The problem is they can't just simply cross the map and go for a keep or anything like that. They are all the way on the right side, but they can at least get their turn in, destroy a couple of waves, set those Web Weavers up. But that is a bit of a 6.5 out of 10 moment here for sure. So there is a chance that they're going to be able to make some moves with this. I mean, if there's ever going to be a comeback in this game, this is where it starts. But they also have to really make sure that they get that turn in. Without the turn in, they have absolutely no chance. Ophia in that last fight has gotten so much damage through, by the way. 72,000 in total. They get their turn in, but they should really take those minion waves out as quickly as they can, so that the Web Weavers march through all of this a little bit faster. Yeah, you want to remove those catapults as well. And here we go. So, this has to be the big one. This is the moment of truth where they can potentially start the comeback. Jojo, by the way, did so much work in that last fight for them. She had so many good condemns, the Blessed Shield on point. All of that really working out for them. And now the push through the middle. Mind control, that one missed already. So nothing the Enjoyers can do there. But the attacks, they keep coming right now. And through the middle, that fort at least should be destroyed. Leorki is dead again. That's 13 kills to 9 at this point. So, well, let's see what else they can do with this. Right now, we are already getting into position where they can start to maybe take a little bit more out here. Take that fort first. Take the second one at the top. Maybe that's an option for them as well. I mean, we'll see. But, yeah. They gotta definitely do... I mean, they gotta do more damage than this. Leoric is still down, but they gotta do something here. I mean, taking the fort is nice. Taking the second one at the top is also pretty sweet. But I was expecting them to be a lot more aggressive in their mid lane, for example. And try and go for a keep as well. Because let's not forget, they lost 2 keeps already. But I guess the idea is to fall back and take the fight here. So, yeah, this is going to be the battle that likely decides the game. There's already the Entomb. It was a pretty good one. Yeah, no buried alive, but they're still getting kills, aren't they? Leo is dead again, but Khaldor with all that damage right now. 74,000, Jojo is gone, but they're getting counter kills. No, they're not. They're losing plays on Ophia instead. We're so close to getting a counter kill here, but now the team is slowly starting to fall apart. The red team in trouble. It's a 5-man team wipe. Guilty. Well, it actually isn't. Guilty Spark is able to survive. What a boss.
Hail to the king, baby.
Not that it helps him a whole lot, but yeah, he is actually fine. And this is obviously the last hurrah of Deckard Cain, trying to somehow buy time, but it's not gonna happen. Great job by the Green Cats to bring it back and nearly do pull off a comeback here, but the Enjoyers with the flank, the kills, and that is game number 1 and a completed bounty for the blue team. GG and well played. Nicely done here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Game number 2, Infernal Shrines, is our second map in the best of 3 series in Group A of the Murky Cup. So, Enjoyers have taken the lead. Now, all the heroes that you've seen on the previous map are unavailable, so 10 heroes are already out as we're starting this off. 1 bounty has been completed, so the Khaldor bounty has been completed. The Enjoyers, therefore, have their first bounty ticket. And, well, let's see what's going to happen in game number 2. If we're going to get another bounty attempt or not. I mean, the Green Cats, for example, they haven't done anything so far. They've just said, we're going to try and win games here. And that's all that we want to do for now. Kerrigan gets banned. There's always a bit of a discussion, by the way, about like what bounties we could also add. And for example, I adjusted 1 bounty. Previously, it was Abathar has to be played with a monstrosity. And there were a couple of people when I announced all of this that said, hey, what about a full Locust build on Abathar? So now instead of going for just a monstrosity, we said it has to be a full Locust build, which I actually think is a pretty fun one. One of the things that's pretty important when it comes to bounties is it still needs to be simple. It can't be something along the lines of like, oh, they have to play these 3 heroes together and then execute that wombo, and they have to do it with 1 arm tied behind their back, 1 eye closed, and then hopping on 1 foot. Like, that makes it just way too complicated, and it's not going to be a thing. So, things, for example, like attempting a washing machine with Sonya, Chen, and level 20 talents is already a little bit too much, because you need to pick the heroes, you need to get to level 20, you can't end before level 20, then you need to find the opportunity to use it. So a lot of the wombo combos are really difficult to make happen, and it's just too many things that have to take place. And yeah, so we basically eliminated those. We had in the past at times that you have to, for example, draft a full StarCraft team, a full Warcraft team. People are always coming back to them. I might add them again in the future at some point, but to tell you the truth, it just feels like it's not really the same. But this is something that we could technically still do. But bounty ideas always welcome, but again, they need to be simple. It needs to be a simple thing. There's a couple of them where we said, okay, here we make a bit of an exception where talent, for example, has to be picked, Twin Blades variant, but generally speaking, it's supposed to be simple, easy to understand, and also be some fun. Now, in this case, we have Samuro banned out, we got Dehaka and Diablo already for Infernal Shrines. Yeah, I mean, that gives you immediately some really nice control over the shrines themselves, and Diablo is going to bully people into some walls. Chromie to try and capitalize on the stuns and get the kills. Junkrat for the extra grenades from the outside. And Brightwing for all of the global heals, for example. Also, there's one restriction. I think I touched upon this earlier, but I want to highlight it again because some people have been asking. You can only complete a single bounty in a game. So teams can't, for example, come in and say like, oh, we're playing with Butcher and Murky, and then if they win the game, they complete 2 bounties. That's not how it works. So you only can go for 1 bounty per game. We had it in the past where a team completed 2 bounties in 1 game, and then if that happens, they get afterwards asked, hey, which one of those 2 bounties would you like to complete? They get a point for that, and the other one still stays open. It always makes it sound like that is like insanely complicated with like 50,000 caveats. It's actually not the case. It's fairly straightforward. There's always people that are trying to come up with some edge case scenarios which I understand, and then obviously you have to answer it and you have to be like, yeah, no, in this case this and that. But generally speaking, the whole bounty idea is very, very straightforward. Also, again, here's just a quick look at the bounties so that you guys are aware of which bounties are generally available. Nuburak and Martha have now been picked for the blue team, so we're waiting for the red team to make their choices here. And, well, it is... We're getting Rhaegar and we get Tychus. So again, no bounty attempt for the Green Cats. So they are just trying to win here. They're just trying to win some games. Because every single bounty is a handicap at the end of the day. We are literally incentivizing people with money to play this stuff. Because when I posted this, for example, on Reddit, some people were like, I play this all the time. And I was like, yeah, but you also don't play tournaments. You can play that in quick match all you want, but there's a reason that we have to incentivize people for them to play this in a tournament environment. We get Zagara, so there is a Nidus bounty that they could go for, and I think this is very likely what the enjoyers are aiming for. Now, they might just go for a straight-up game. We'll figure that out in just a couple of minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Infernal Shrines, our second map in the best of 3 series here between the Enjoyers and the Green Cats. Game number 2, match point. So, over on the left side, we have the Enjoyers with Arian on Nuburak. We're getting Itrax on Malthael, Lavakal on Brightwing, Alvaros is playing Junkrat, and we got Briss on Zagara, the sub for today. Over on the right side, it's the Green Cats. We're having Reverse with Tychus going for a typical grenade build here. Jhard is playing Diablo. Guilty Spark is on Rhaegar. We got Timothy on Chromie, and Pudgenox is starting things off with Dehaka. So we got globals on each team's side. But yeah, let's see what we're getting from the blue team. If they are going for a bounty attempt or not. Because, again, as mentioned before, you could go for Nidus Zagara here instead of just using more and try and complete a second bounty. In the earlier stages, I mean, again, this is the winner bracket of Group A, so if you lose a game here, this is much easier to swallow than if you try and pull it off, let's say, in the loser's bracket, for example. That makes a huge difference because you're so close to getting eliminated if you're already in the loser's bracket. But over here, even if you fail, you still have another shot then later on. Bit of a rotation towards the top there for just a second. Yeah, nothing too insane. Honestly, every single time I see Tychus right now, I'm immediately reminded of this absolutely insane game that we had the other day, where Tychus went into In the Rhythm and a full auto attack build on this map and ended up with 500 stacks. It was absolutely bonkers. If you haven't seen this yet, you should check out the videos in the Anniversary Cup playlist. Anniversary Cup was the last tournament, the latest tournament that we had on the channel, and there is a playlist for it. And one of the games is, I mean, again, the title and the thumbnail both are addressing Tigers. But if you haven't seen the game that I'm talking about, I would highly recommend that you check out that video, especially if you're an auto attack player, because that was pretty special. That was a huge back and forth game. And just the build alone for Tigers and how it played out for them was mega interesting. So again, if you haven't seen it yet, Anniversary Cup playlist is on the YouTube channel. And that tournament had some incredible games, but this one will stand out to me for a long, long time. Now, with our level 4 talents, we have Rega, by the way, went straight into shield build with Stormcaller over here. We got the bigger they are for Tigers now against Diablo, so burning him down a little bit further. Zagara has already started things up with the Envenomed Spines, and we're soon going to get the first objective of the game, which is in this case, as usual, the shrine in the middle. And Zagara is already starting with her creep spread here. Rega is obviously going to be one of the... I mean, there's a lot of heroes on the side of the Green Cats that can deal with those creep tumors and take them down quickly. Both of the teams are going for their camps. Getting some shamans onto the top lane for some extra pressure. And yeah, this is going to be the first little fight that we're going to get between them. So far, it has been a very calm game. Not a single kill yet. Teams just go for the minion waves, and that's about it. But this is where the party starts. Jungle is a bit low here, but the blue team is taking the initial lead. With Anubarak, they can of course always dive in and try and get a kill quickly. Then you have Malthael to follow up after level 10 with possibly Last Rites, even though you can really play Tormented Souls on this map too. Again, we had some crazy comps in the past, like Tormented Souls plus Divine Shield plus Ananano Boost, and you play that with a double support. Malthael becomes a one-man killing machine. This is absolutely crazy. Blue team, on the other hand, now at least early on in the second map of the series, is getting a pretty significant lead in all of this, and are just locking in the first Punisher with absolute ease. They're gonna get their level 7 talents, of course, just in time for the push. Yeah, let's see how much they can do. This is a Frozen Punisher after all. Ooh, but Malthael licked and killed. Parchnox apparently prepping the kill here for the team. That's a bit of a setback for the aggression. But then again, the Punisher jump gets proc in front of the wall as they're hoping to go for Zagara. She is a bit on the squishy side, is able to escape though, and now they can deal with the Punisher. And they need to try and pull this off as quickly as they can. So it's actually not too bad. They lose the wall, which is fine, but every time that you see a Frozen Punisher, the danger is of course that you're going to lose an entire fort, or at least a lot of its hit points. They've also triggered a lot of the frozen explosions and circles outside of the fort range, which was pretty smart. So well done. And all of that empowered by that earlier kill that they got. Without that kill, it's a different story. Without that kill, it's going to get pretty tricky. Because then it's a 5-man push that they have to deal with. And yeah, that likely ends up with you, if not losing the fort, then at least taking lots of damage there. With level 7, we get Touch of Death from Malthael. Chromie obviously has access to a level 10 already, so we get the Temporal Loop from her. Yeah, at the top side, Malthael is actually bullying the Haka a lot. And gets dragged? Boy, you are so close to getting a kill here. But the Haka still able to survive through this. And it was a pretty nice move by Parchnox too. Brightwing to the rescue, but they didn't see that rotation coming, and now Malthael is dead. So yeah, I think they were pretty happy that they were all of a sudden 2v1 against the Haka. Did not realize that there was an entire team rotating up, and all of a sudden they're all dead. So now we have Tigers with Odin. That's 2 kills to 0, by the way, so the Green Cats are once again doing pretty okay in the early game. And we keep our eyes on Zagara. This is the only hero that could technically still try to go for a bounty by picking Nidus. And then go for a Red Dota style. And Nidus it is! It's a bounty attempt by the Enjoyers. They go for the Nidus network here. So, let's see how much of an impact Zagara is going to have with it. I mean, worst case scenario, it's just an extra healing fountain for you, essentially. Bit of a retreat point that you can use. But best case scenario, you're just running circles around your opponent. and keep him busy. Dehaka is the global they have on the map, but he would have to react to a lot, of course, if that gets played properly. Now, time will tell. Chromie, in the meantime, went for timeout on level 13. J-Hart. Careful. Bad. Yeah, is in the corner, but he's going to be fine. Rhaegar's here too. Zagara is already starting to pop back into the middle. We'll have to spread a couple of those Nidus networks. I think the one at the bottom has a good chance of being discovered soonish. Last rights from Malthael. Dehaka was trying to bait it a little bit there for just a second. But yeah, he's not going to fall for it that easily. So, how much of an impact is that Nidus going to have? I gotta say, just the concept of Nidus, I absolutely love it. It's just always a question of what you can do with it. Cocoon on Chromie, and they went for Junkrat and they went for Nubarak, but it seems like both of them are most likely going to be able to survive. Zagara is also getting away here. She actually came down to try and help. Oh, but the kill with the barbecue! Nice! J-Hart beasting it over the wall, taking the cockroach out. That was sweet. Really nice kill from Diablo. Quickly eliminated, so that's kill number 3 for Team Green Cats. They are not going for bounties in this game. They're really just hoping to win a couple of games here, at least thus far. But they're doing well. They're going up against a very experienced team that has played in countless tournaments over the last couple of years. And they're doing pretty okay right now. We have 13,000 damage for Dehaka, 16,000 for Malthael, but I think Tychus is going to have a bad day here. That's a stack for Malthael, if anything. A little bit too late on the Ancestral. I appreciate the effort from Rhaegar, but that was too little too late. And now the fort is gone. Now, they're going for the objective at the top, and they're likely going to get that, but it's just too much damage down here. Nice Cocoon to stop Rhaegar, but the Ancestral came through. Rhaegar is going to try and get away from this, and very likely will not be able to pull that off, but they're wasting a bit more time for them. Rhaegar! Nope. That's a kill. 2 kills in short order for the Enjoyers, and they took the fort out, so that's big for them. But Dehaka has had control over the top for a long, long time now, and it's a guaranteed objective for the Green Cats. Nobody is going to be able to screw with that. It's just not going to be a thing. So now what we're getting instead is an attempted push and damage by the Green Cats. They're also sieging up with Odin here immediately. Teams even in experience. I mean, it is a pretty close series. Zagara has 3 networks on 3 tunnels on the map now that she can use to try and jump around here. And needs to be also careful. I mean, she technically could try to go down to the bottom of the map and push a bit there. Evading the jump on the Punisher as is. But that fort is heavily getting attacked. And is eating a lot of damage. But not everybody is at the top. Oh, but they could get the kill on a Nubarak. And they do. And Nubarak is dead again. And that should help them to take the fort out. They take it apart. There is still a double camp in the middle though, so Dehaka is currently taking care of the minion waves as the chase at the top is focusing on Malthael, but they weren't able to get the kill here. Nicely done though by the Green Cats. So they lost the fort at the bottom of the map in the earlier push attempt from the Enjoyers, but now they responded in kind and took out the one at the top. Zagara with a little bit more damage here. 2 went straight into the protective coating. There's a little bit of a different style here obviously with the network. 23,000 damage now for Malthael, 14,000 for Tychus. And Dehaka, I mean, Dehaka is honestly just doing a cleaning. He basically, oh, Junkrat, oh my god, he's solo and he gets away. Good for him. Ancestral is keeping Tychus in play. The lick misses as Dehaka rejoins, but he's just basically been on garbage duty. He was running from one lane to the next and just always dealing with whatever fire came in here. Misses the isolation in this fight now though. And gets stunned out. Last rights. Yeah, he was already underground. So baited out the big ult from the Enjoyers. The big cooldown from Malthael. And then negated it quickly by burrowing down. But level 16 talents are soon going to be ready. This is a close one though. I like this. I like this a lot. On paper, at least, the Green Cats definitely one of the weaker teams. I'd say that's fair, but they are putting up a fight here. They did it in game number 1, and now they're doing it in game number 2. So they have the early level 16, tiny lead in experience, also partly because they have had those extra kills. Then again, Dehaka might be in trouble down here. Needs a bit of an assist. Brightwing came in. They're trying to get away, and he is able to get out. Parchnox had some really cool moments over the last 2 games. Now they're attempting to steal the camp away at the top, and I think the blue team is going to be a bit too late to do something about it, but they might be able to catch them on their way back out. So Inuburak, is he going for the cocoon here? Tries to stun first. Gets both connected. Cocoon on Diablo, and it's immediately negated. And well, that's probably the end of the cockroach again. And Nubarak goes down, gets grenaded by Taikes. Bam! That's Brightwing also gone. And with the isolation connecting from the Haka, they're going for Junkrat and they kill him as well. So, well done. Get all the kills here. First it's the Nubarak that falls, then they're following up on Brightwing, and then Junkrat falls a second later. So with 3 heroes dead, they're instantly starting to push for the top lane. And that is going to be keep number 1 in game number 2 of this best of 3 series. They're doing a great job here. I like what we're seeing from the Green Cats. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually pretty cool. So the keep is going to be destroyed, and the blue team will have a tough time bringing this back. Parchnox, on the other hand, yeah, again, negates this with a cooldown. This is something that shouldn't really happen to Malthael. I mean, Itrix can obviously drop the ult if he really needs to, but he should always be aware if the cooldown for Burrow is still available or not. So losing the cooldown just as the fight over the objective pops up again is always a little bit tricky. So 40 more seconds until he has the chance to drop another one. Initial lead has been taken by the Cats here. They're a little bit ahead. And, well, can they get the Punisher? Don't forget, there is a keep gone at the top lane, and to make matters worse for the Enjoyers, they haven't even destroyed the fort on that lane on the red team side. So that's going to be a lot of catapults as this continues. 15 more seconds for last rites. There are already a few moments here where last rites would have been really nice and at least triggered ult from Rhaegar. 5 more seconds and then he can use it. So Malthael should get ready for this. He's still fighting with the Haka. Gets licked. Cocoon on Taikes. Malthael has his ult and drops it again on the Haka. Gets killed and the Haka survives. He has the heals. He has the essence. Makes it. And now the Green Cats with another Punisher. I'm telling you, this team is pulling it off here. They're doing an enormous amount of work. And Nidus Zagara did not have the impact yet that they really want here from her. And she has no tunnels left. There's one in the base, that's essentially it. But if you look at the map itself, you normally want to have your tunnel network so that you can actually go behind enemy lines and maybe push. She has nothing there. So for the Enjoyers, this is a huge problem. And now they have to defend the keep in the middle, which is not going to be easy either. Malthael is still the top damage dealer for the blue team with 43,000. Chromie with only 28k for the Green Cats, but they're 1.5 levels ahead right now, 6 kills ahead, and they're working on keep number 2. And they soon will have a level 20 talent as well. Oh, Parchnox is a bit low, but it's Junkrat that dies. Junkrat is gone. Diablo, there's the last rites, and finally they get a kill. The keep still destroyed. The kill, nice, but again, they weren't able to stop the push itself. So now level 20 talents are ready for the red team. But getting at least 1 kill and force them back was of course great, but they weren't able to stop the push. It's a tricky one for them right now. So, yeah, we'll see how far this goes. Because at this point, the blue team still has to catch up on an entire level, which is not going to be easy. And yeah, we'll see if they can somehow pull it off. Right now, I have my doubts, to tell you the truth. But, okay. Camps are getting stolen away as well. Chromie needs to also prep the next kill. And she does! The follow-up from Taikes. After all the Chromie damage came in, they were able to take down Zagara with a nicely placed grenade from Taikes. That's another fort about to be destroyed, and the blue team is just getting slapped around here. One hit after another. They're suffering. They're really, really suffering. They're the punching bag right now. The red team is coming in with all the aggression and the damage, all the advantages that they have. They're just trying to be more and more aggressive and abusing that lead that they hold for now. They know that it's only half level until the Enjoyers have their own Storm talent, so they are trying to capitalize on this as best as they can. And honestly, with them now going for the final keep and destroying this as well, this is a disaster for the Enjoyers. I don't think there's going to be a push for the keep, for the core directly, but time is now working in favor of the Green Cats. There's only a single fort that has been destroyed by the blue team, and they know that they are now in a lot of trouble. They can use Zagara to always move back, so her Nidus is actually a bit of an asset right now, since she can always go back to the core and defend very quickly. And if they push, she just drops one at the front and can jump between the 2 points very, very quickly. But they need to win big fights now. This is the only way to come back into this game. You need to take fights, you need to win the big time, as the only shot that you have. Nothing else works here. Shrine is activating at the bottom of the map, and they need to now play this one perfectly. They have level 20, it took them a long time to get here, but they are on the same talent here. Which means, of course, that Malthael, for example, can now buy back, so to say. We got the Trader King for Anubarak. This should help him a little bit to survive, because he's not had a great game. 3 deaths on him at the front. Got barbecued a little bit by Diablo. What is the red team doing? They're pushing at the top a bit. Trying to force the opponent back from the shrine, of course. And this is really the weird one now. What kind of choices are the Green Cats now making? They seem to be going directly for the core. Malthael is still on the shrine. So he's getting them a bit of a lead here, as the defense goes strong. Yeah, Cocoon is already used. Malthael can, of course, half back. I'm not sure if this attack is really working. So it is decision-making time. The Green Cats are making the calls, and the question is, are they any good? They're trying for Nubarak, who immediately moves back out. But the blue team has a bit of an advantage currently on the shrine. They're 15 shrine stacks ahead. But then again, a lot of ults were used. For example, Tychus is not going to have access to his big red button anymore. They have the position now, but here comes the blue team. Right wing can move in. Here's the Riptire. Yeah, the lick does not connect. Riptire is in, connects quickly, and here's now the real fight. Lots of ult were already used, but we still have last rights for Malthael. It's a big moment here. Can they get an early kill, for example? Maybe on Rhaegar. He's self-ancestrals, realizing that he's in trouble, and Malthael is dead. Buys back right away, has already used his ult, the barbecue on Anubarak. He goes down, Brightwing escapes, but this is still not looking great for the Enjoyers. Lavakal is desperately attempting to get away and makes it. He actually gets out, but they go for Malthael again, who just bought back. Malthael, he doesn't have an ult, and he gets destroyed, and so does Brightwing, and I think this also ends the hopes of the Enjoyers to end the series with a 2-0. Zagara is on the run, but she gets eliminated as well. 5-man team wipe. The game ends with a victory for the Green Cats. The series is tied as we are heading to game number 3, the final map in this first best of 3 of Group A. GG, well played. Towers of Doom, game number 3. So we're actually going down to the final map on this one. Unexpected, but not unwelcome, so this should be fun. Quick reminder, 20 heroes have now been played and cannot be played again. So 20 heroes have now been removed from the hero pool. Again, nothing too crazy, but it will have a bit of an impact. Also, once again, just a quick idea of the bounties right here. Keep in mind, the Nidus bounty has been tried and failed, and the Kel'Thuzad bounty has been completed by the Enjoyer. So just as a bit of a side note. So the Enjoyers have now 1.5 tickets. They get half a ticket for the bounty pool because they failed one bounty, and they can try it again. And they have completed the Kel'Thuzad bounty, for which they got a full point, and they cannot attempt it again. Well, they can play Kel'Thuzad again, obviously, but they're not going to get any more additional points because of that. So that's just how we deal with the bounties here. again, if you have any questions, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, I went over most of it already in the course of the video, but feel free to post it in the comments. I'll try to answer everything there as best as I can. Also, a quick reminder, if you want to help to support this tournament and the format, you can help with the crowdfunding on the bounty pool. There will be a link in the description of the video where every single donation on this goes straight to the bounty pool. So if you would like to boost that a little bit and incentivize the teams more to play some crazy stuff there, that's one of the things that you can definitely do there. So again, link will be in the description if you currently watch this on YouTube. Stitches and Urel. We could see Alexstrasza here. That would be a bounty attempt. Again, so far I haven't really gotten the impression that the Green Cats are really set on bounty completions, but they have now a chance to, I mean, obviously they could pick whatever still and go for bounty there, but with Stitches, if you go for Alexstrasza, that's already a big first step. The Medivh first pick, on the other hand, is also huge, and now they pair that off with Garrosh. This would have been really interesting if they got Medivh, Stitches, and Anduin. Just imagine that for a second. All of a sudden, Stitches Gorge, Anduin Pull, and then Portal Medivh. That would be pretty sexy. But Stitches got picked away, so that's not happening. Still, with Anduin, you have the poor man's... yeah, well, no. You actually don't have anything there, because you don't have Stitches. Nah. You can still flip people around with Garrosh. It would have been kind of fun, by the way, if they had some kind of Easter egg thing where Anduin can use his trait also on enemy heroes. Think about that. Make it a level 20 talent just for Easter. For April's Fool's Day. And all of a sudden Anduin can pull opponents. So, Garrosh flip into an Anduin pull. That could be some... What?
Nope.
You're not supposed to ban her! What is wrong with you? This was a chance to get a bounty! We could have seen Stitches and Alexstrasza and you ban her? I mean, that's just bad. This is just BM. That's a yellow card right there. Clear yellow card. Unbelievable. They ruined the bounty. Can't believe this has happened. Greyman and Illidan, so I guess they're gonna go for the Hound bounty here. We have Lucio and Falstad on the other side, so you can go into a Gorge and Gust. But like, don't ban her. That's just mean. Unbelievable. Last pick for the Green Cats. Towers of Doom again. This is the final map here, and well, they go for Thrall. Green Jesus is in the house. No bounty for the red team. Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into the final map of this series. It's Towers of Doom. Game number 3. Let's go. Our final map in this series. The Enjoyers are apparently aiming for another bounty. They pick Illidan and they go for the Unending Hatred. So... Arion on Garrosh, we got Alvaros on Medivh, Lavakal on Anduin, and Itrax on Greymane. Over on the right side of the map, we got the Green Cats. We got Jayhard on Stitches, Timothy on Thrall, Reverse on Falstad, Guilty Spark on Lucio, and Pudgenox is playing Stitches. So, ooh. Oh, they wanted to go for it. He goes for Hungry for More anyways, and we now have Trash Lightning. There's so many things happening right here. I'm a little bit mad at the Enjoyers. How dare they just ban Alexstrasza? That is unforgivable. Like, I mean, to be fair, if you deny bounty attempts to the other team, that also means that obviously for your own bounty points, you get more at the end of the tournament. So there is actually a reason why you would try and deny bounties to other teams. So that's definitely a thing. That's a nice hook, by the way. That could be the end of Medivh. He has 9 stacks already. If they would have gotten a kill here, that would have been a good first step. Illidan is going to be pretty fun here too if he's able to get decent stacks together for himself. They're trying to trap him a bit at the top. Also keeping, of course, a bit of an eye on our boy Thrall. To see what he's going to do. A good Medivh play is always amazing. So, yeah. If we're gonna get some nice portal action around Garrosh, that would be pretty sexy. I would definitely not say no to that. Choo-choo! So, Illidan, the unending hatred of 10,000 Hero League games. The blind guy. I'm gonna refrain from any Illidan against Malfurion comments. The World of Warcraft crowd is always getting very, very agitated whenever I do that and call Illidan the cooler brother. Apparently there's a lot of Malfurion fans out there. Who knew? Don't really understand why you would go for the Moskies that has clear arthritis every single time that he gets picked. Don't believe me? Go and pick him in the selection screen. He's just like, oh, I'm old and mossy. Ah. Jayad is dead, isn't he? Yep, that's a kill. That's first blood. That is Stitches gone. The one thing that is still absolutely hilarious to me, by the way, is that one of the counters to Illidan is blinding him. You're blinding the blind guy. Congratulations. Well thought out, Blizzard. Nice. Oh boy. I really hope that this is just something that they did intentionally because they wanted to meme a little bit and not an accident. I really hope there was this one guy who was like, what if we go for this inside joke and make blinds the thing? You miss auto attacks and Illidan is affected by it. That would have been amazing. It would have been even better if they, for example, came in as like, yeah, blinds, generally speaking, against auto attackers is awesome. Illidan, on the other hand, is immune to it because, you know, the guy is blindfolded. So that would have been even better if they made an exception for Illidan. I wonder if this was ever discussed at Blizzard. There's a good chance that it actually was, that they went over this. Can we really do that? Let's get legal involved. Also, Medivh, like, dude, you need to get back out there. 29 stacks, you don't want to die right now. Sacrifice the wolf, that's fine. They're exchanging the shots at the top left, top right, and now Falsa is flying down to the bottom of the map. Illidan doesn't have Hunt yet, so they don't have a pseudo-global, which means that the red team has a numbers advantage at the bottom of the map and locks in the second altar out of the 3, so they have a bit of a lead here. Thrall misses, by the way, the last wolf. He was at 5 stacks and then he missed one, so that means that he's reset on his level 4 quest. Medivh, on the other hand, he completed his. And, well, yep, that's the end of Stitches. Stitches has now been killed for the second time. Jayhard gets a little bit murdered here. 7 stacks for Thrall. I mean, again, Thrall is obviously ramping up the damage with Trash Lightning whenever he gets those connects, but you really want to complete the quest because that targeting that you get as a reward is insane. Is absolutely insane. At that point, you also have a lot more damage because he stacked it again. So that's a continuous process. But getting that auto targeting is incredible. You can just poke heroes down 6 days to Sunday. Nobody is safe, no matter where. So yeah, that's definitely something that they want to have as quickly as possible. And so far, it's doing okay. He has 9 stacks already, so it's getting there. Illidan, as he goes for one wave after another, is also helping his level 1 a bit. This is obviously going to become more and more important as the game continues. And if this is going to be a game that lasts pretty long, then you will have solid stacks here. So that you start becoming a threat against isolated targets like Falstad, maybe even Lucio and Thrall. Especially since we can expect, as I said before, that they go into the hunt as their talent, because that is still a bounty. And yes, some bounties are obviously a bit easier to complete than others. I mean, there's a reason why we give double rewards for some bounty upon completion. I still want to see what happens around Twin Blade Variant. It's amazing to me that we now had 3 tournaments with this system and we never have seen Twin Blade Variant. Thrall loses his quest progress again as he gets killed. Illidan, on the other hand, is able to get at least his quest completed. He's going to stack more than that. Has now picked the hunt, so they're going for the bounty as expected. But he already has a pretty decent amount of now auto attack damage here. I'm looking at Stitches too, and we have him on 10 stacks on his level 1. I'm still a little bit salty that they banned out Alex Graza and didn't allow for the bounty attempt by the Green Cats. This would have been amazing to just see how many stacks Jayhard can get, and he really needs them because currently he's just dying. And they're also taking down the Bird and Lucio. So they're coming in with 3 kills in total, 6 kills to 1. The Enjoyers, that ley line setup did wonders for them. I mean, perfect play from them right now. Medivh an absolute menace here. And after they get the triple kill, they just fall back onto the bell tower and take it apart with ease. Nicely done. So, yeah, that's pretty huge. I mean, it's a massive, massive start into the game for the Enjoyers. Towers of Doom has always been the comeback map. And now that Stitches has Gorge, one well-placed hook can obviously ruin the day of the blue team, especially once level 30 talents are connected. That's a nice gust. There's a little bit of a face check here in that bush, and now they're focusing on the objective. So, I guess it's fair to say that the Enjoyers have really taken lead here, and they've gained a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence too. The red team is controlled nicely by them. Here's the extra 4 shots fired. That puts them in the lead. 16,000 damage for Thrall now. They're trying to retake that bell tower at the bottom of the map, and they're going to get it in time. The bell tower is essentially traded for the 4 shots at the boss. You can always make the argument, well, they should have defended the bot lane, tried to maintain control here. Bot lane control in particular is important because of the pumpkins that spawn there. At the same time, you also have the chance to get more shots fired through the altars. But they wanted the boss, they wanted to grab that quickly, and did. So now for the red team, really, really important to get those stacks up slowly, get some kills. Nice hook and gorge, but Polster gets attacked as Hunt comes through. Sundering is out, Stitches again in trouble, the gust used, but Garrosh already flipped him back into the rest of the team. And that Stitches gone. Urel was able to channel in the middle though. During all of that, Urel jumped into the middle and did her job. So they were able to get that. The ley line again though. Nice ley line. The birdie is in trouble. Bye-bye Falstead. He's gone. So yeah, that was an easy one.
And we say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
8 kills to 1. That bell tower at the bottom of the map is going to get controlled again by the Enjoyers. And they're obviously waiting before they start the bot lane altar channel so that they get the 5 shots. They will take the lead again on this. 30,000 damage from Greymane now. Illidan on 13,000. Again, Illidan usually, if he goes specifically for this build also with auto attack, is not ending up in the top damage numbers or anything. But his damage against a single target is insanely annoying. And he's just, yeah, it's just insanely difficult to get rid of. He's like that sticky note that just sticks to your finger and you can't get rid of it. And every single time that you're trying, you know, it just like sticks to something else and you just like have a huge problem just getting rid of it and eliminating it. That's Illidan at the end of the day for you. When he doesn't get stunned, he is just going to sit on you all day, get those auto attacks in and do the damage. And talking about doing damage, blue team is now doing even more with pumpkins. So now they have the red team down to 20 points on the core. And they have them nearly 2 levels behind. So they're getting further and further ahead here. Looking pretty good. As up at the top, we got a Podgnox. Yep. Still trying to apply some pressure to the blue team's bell towers at least. But level 16 is now half a level away. Thrall is at 17 stacks. Again, his damage not bad. But you look over to Illidan, for example. He's now at 58 on his level 1. It's going to increase there as well. They kill Falstead again. And here comes Greymane. Jumps in immediately. Yeah. Stack after stack after stack now for the blue team. And they have with level 16 also a huge boost. And that's a 2-level advantage over the opponent. So this is going to be a long time until we have even talents again between the two teams. So this is going to be tricky. Doesn't look good for the Green Cats. More pumpkins make it through. Leyline helping out with that. It's not a lot again, but they at least get one. Couldn't get the Gorge through apparently. Well, there it is. And that should be a dead Medivh. Does he have a shield? I think he just used it, right? Nope, he has it. And he has the portal cooldown as well. And he gets out. And the Gas, they try for Lavakal. They just can't get any kills. I thought they could kill Medivh here. I really thought they had him. But he had both cooldowns ready, which is a disaster. Now Lucio is gone. This entire thing backfired so hard. You could say it backfired J-hard. But yeah, Urel is gone too. And this is how all of this started, by the way. Right here. First Medivh just escapes. Falstad tries to go for the quick gust. And even that didn't give them a kill. So it's 11 kills to 1. And they're making a move for Stitches, who just gets murdered mid-air. Has no chance. It is a disaster. That momentum has built up so insanely well in favor of the blue team. They started with a little snowball, and now it's an avalanche that is rolling over the green cats. And yeah, it's disastrous. 14 points to 28. The triple altar phase is going to be the next one that pops up here. It's still a 5 versus 3 bell tower situation. The damage output, we have Illidan rocking the side lane with 96 siege damage. 96,000. 43,000 damage for Greymane. Medivh with the early completion on his quest, obviously not looking too bad either. He's sitting at 35k. That is more than Thrall, by the way, who is the top damage dealer for the Green Cats. So, yep, Medivh with some serious numbers in this one. The only saving grace for the red team is that they now have level 16 talents. Thrall, by the way, talking about level 16 talents, has still not completed his level 4 quest, so that synergy is not fully unlocked. There it is. Just as I said, he gets the double. Good for him. Yeah, Gus is being used. They still have to protect Lucio, and they do. But Illidan with a hunt. Sundering to save the day. Falstad is in trouble, though, and goes down as the shield protects Greymane just before he falls. But they are finally... No, they're not getting kills. Thrall and Urel are both gone. That's only 2 heroes still up on the map. Stitches dies as well. 5-man team wipe. And this could be a disaster. I mean, honestly, this could nearly be game. They're channeling all of the altars from the looks of it. That's 15. And, well, actually, there's a couple of pumpkins. Okay, my bad. This is actually over. Yep, I thought they needed a bit more, but nope. There we have it. That's game. GG, well played. The Enjoyers win the series, and the Green Cats drop into the losers bracket.